Hey, this is Mark Bushy, the man of real estate, here to give you your February 2024 Fargo Market Real Estate Update. This is Living Large in Fargo. Thanks for checking out my Fargo Market Update. As most of you know, holiday seasons around November, December, Thanksgiving, Christmas, the real estate market really slows down. And especially here in Fargo, it's winter, it's cold. People don't want to buy a house and move in the wintertime. But we've had some unseasonably warm weather this year. In fact, if you were to look outside right now, you would see almost no snow anywhere on the ground. We've had 30s and 40s, which is record highs for this time of year for Fargo. Just as we see the market slow down in the winter, we typically see the spring heat up very quickly, especially going into March, April, May. But with the warm weather and a little dip in the interest rates recently, I expected to see a little more activity in January. But let's take a look at the numbers and I'll show you what really happened. Okay, so the number of active listings dropped a fair amount from December to January of this just recently, but that's not unexpected. The reason why is because a lot of listings they have an expiration date when they go off market, and January 1st, December 31st is a typical date where those listings would expire. So we expected to see a lot of expired listings here. And then a lot of those listings came back on the market because they relisted them. In addition, we saw a lot of listings come on because people were just waiting for the end of Christmas, waiting for the holidays to be done there, waiting for the new year to kick off their listings. So we saw active listings go from 925 in December down to 824 in January. And then we saw new listings go from 135 in December all the way up to 364 in January, almost triple. And that again accounts for those two factors I said before, where we had a lot of expired listings and then we had a lot of people waiting to list here. So quite a few new listings in January compared to December. So how did home prices hold up from December to January? Well, they stayed exactly the same. There was no change. The median home price in Fargo is about $280,000. The good thing about this is that things are very stable. The market's been stable. We don't have any crazy multiple offers driving up prices, low rates driving up prices, lots of competition. Everything's been pretty stable for the last year. And $280,000 for median home price means that Fargo's a very affordable place to buy a home. And actually for home buying and renting, we rank very low in pricing for home pricing, which keeps us, into a very good economy here and keeps it a very affordable place to live. Next, let's take a look at the number of houses that were sold or that actually closed in January versus December. The number was way down, and there's a good reason for that. We went from 244 closings in December down to 167 closings in January. And the reason being is closing takes place typically 30 to 60 days after an offer is written and accepted on a house. And as I mentioned before, November, December are very typically very slow. So we had less offers written at that time, which means we had less closings for January. Now, what does this bring for the next month or two? Meaning, since we ideally would see lots of offers written now, are we going to have lots of closings the next month or two? Let's find out. So let's talk about pending sales. So these are offers that were written on houses in January. The house becomes pending sale, and will be closing most likely in the next month or two. I was expecting a much higher number. We actually saw almost exactly the same number. We had 213 pending sales in December, 214 in January, almost identical. I personally saw a lot more activity in my listings and with my buyers. I had a house that I listed back in November. It's one of my personal rental properties that we rehabbed and put on the market. Between Thanksgiving and Christmas, I had literally one showing on the house. We took it off the market, 30 days, we put it back on in the middle of January, and we had many showings. We had it sold within 48 hours for full price. So I also listed another property, same exact thing. Within 48 hours, we had a full price offer on there and lots of activity, way more than last fall. We also saw a slight dip at the new year in interest rates, and I had heard a lot of activity from my lender partners saying that mortgage applications were increasing slightly. It's new year, new time for people to go out and start looking at houses, and I expected to see a lot more activity. We saw the exact same number of pending sales in January as we did in February. But we're not in the spring market yet. It's still winter. It's still that time of year. It's still slow. People are traveling. I think half the people I talk to are down in Mexico right now, or Phoenix, or somewhere warm. We'll get there. It's traditionally we'll see February start to pick up, March and April really pick up, and May is typically our busiest season, our busiest month of the season. Along with that, I'm also very curious to see how February's numbers are going to look here. We expected to see the Federal Reserve drop the rates here just about a week ago, and they did not do that. And they also indicated that they're going to keep the rates most likely for the next Federal Reserve meeting as well, though they have indicated a drop in the rates throughout the year. I heard at least 3 times. Now, Federal Reserve rates are not mortgage rates, just to be clear on that, but they do correlate with each other somewhat. So if you see rates, Federal Reserve rates go up, you're going to see typically mortgage rates matching that somewhat and being in the same realm of numbers there, and same when they go down. So if we see the Federal Reserve drop the rates, it most likely will affect the mortgage rates as well, and that'll bring in more consumer confidence as well. What will actually happen? It's hard to say. It's also an election year, and that always has a little chaos thrown in there to really figure out what's going to happen. But for now, they're saying rates can drop, and that could lead towards a more healthy market. All right, so the last stat that I want to touch on here is the days on market, or actually the months of inventory. As I mentioned in previous videos, 5 to 7 months of inventory. Basically, if we stop listing houses for now, how much inventory would we have for buyers to buy? 5 to 7 months is typically considered a neutral market. If you have more than 7 months of inventory, that's considered a buyer's market. There's too much inventory. Buyers have the negotiating power and they get better deals. When there's less than 5 months, we consider it a seller's market. And in this case, there's not enough inventory and the sellers can make more demands. The buyers have more competition. Last month, we were at 3.2 months of inventory. We dropped slightly at 2.86 months of inventory. So we're below 3 months, which is well below the 5 months I just mentioned. That means we are in a seller's market technically, but my personal experience is this really seems like more of a neutral market. Houses are selling and they're not staying on the market very long for the most part, as long as they're priced reasonable, but they are still selling and buyers are still buying. So we're kind of in that middle ground. The last 2 listings I had did sell for full price, except the buyers did ask for some small concessions, pretty minor actually. But if this had been 2 years ago, 3 years ago during COVID, it would be 10 offers, 20 offers, 30 offers in the same house. If you were in a recession and things were really slow, like we had back during 7, 8, 9, you could get rock bottom prices in houses and really negotiate. So we feel like we're in more of a neutral market, but the numbers say we are in a seller's market. Houses are still selling. People are buying houses. It's actually, in my opinion, becoming more of a healthy market, as I mentioned before. Healthy is good. People are listing and selling. There's buyers out there buying and inventory is moving. All right. So what are my predictions for the market this year and especially this spring? Personally, I'm very excited about what's going on right now. I talk to people every day. I make phone calls. I'm on social media. I'm out talking to people, and I have many buyers and sellers who have been on the fence for the past year. They just can't stomach that 7-8% interest rate. We're seeing rates more down in the 6s, 6.5%, 7% rate right now. But I think what we're seeing is people are just more used to the fact that this is probably the new normal. And in reality, the 3% rates we had during COVID were not normal. They were abnormally low and they caused a lot of chaos in the market. I mentioned all the multiple offers, the lack of, any ability to structure a great deal for a buyer. It was not a great time. I had buyers that wrote offers on 10 different houses and we lose against 10, 20 different, other offers. And it was frustrating. So right now we're seeing a lot more consumer confidence. Again, like I mentioned, we're used to these rates, and actually they're really historically, they are rates that were pretty average. Even during the bubble that happened before the Great Recession, rates, I bought my first home back then, rates 6.5%, pretty typical. So we're seeing a lot more confidence. So we have a lot more people that have finally decided to make the move. They're going to upgrade, downgrade, they're going to sell their house. We got a lot of first time home buyers coming in and getting pre-qualified. I'm seeing a lot of activity, and I think we're going to see a lot of activity this spring. So I'm pretty optimistic about this. 2024 is shaping up to be a pretty good year. Me personally, I think if we can get rates down to 5, 6, somewhere in that range, it's going to be really great for both buyers and sellers and really help a lot of people get into homes or sell a house if they really need to. So I'm excited. This is going to be a good spring. Hey, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to watch and learn about the Fargo market. If you have any questions, drop them down below in the comments. I do read the comments. I'll reply, or just give me a call. You can reach me on my personal cell, 701-793-8543. I love talking about real estate. I love talking about Fargo. Give me a call, seriously, and we can talk, chat, whatever you want about the Fargo market. If you find this content, these videos helpful, informative, please like the video and subscribe. And if you want more information, hit that notification bell. And we'll be out here with numerous videos. I do a market update once a month. Come check it out. I hope you get a lot of information from this. This is Mark Bushy, man of real estate, living large in Fargo. We'll see you next time.